and our dependency on foreign oil?
Sure. Well, first of all, addressing the study, I would say that obviously I'm a mechanical engineer and not an environmental scientist. However, whether there's credence to the study or not, I would say we definitely know that CO2 emissions are a problem, and I believe that companies or people who knowingly emit too much CO2 should be penalized as such. They should be taxed in a way that obviously they will think twice before they allow again some type of harmful pollutants, so to speak, or anything to leave a smokestack or be deposited into a wastewater stream of any sort with any other chemical that's found harmful to the environment. So I would definitely say, again, I oppose cap and trade, but completely understand the study and the direction that it was going, and believe we need to ensure that we do things like depend more on greener energy. One of the pillars, again, of the Boyd doctrine is relating to the fact that we need to ensure that we are capping or reducing greenhouse gases, that we are making sure that we rely more on greener jobs in the economy. If I could just plug a note in here, one of the reasons why I think people are so hesitant to engage in activities that relate to a greener economy is because they feel there's no money there. They feel like there are fewer jobs. However, under our doctrine, which people will probably get tired of hearing, the Boyd doctrine, we're trying to show that green jobs can actually allow people who are without jobs now to readjust and engage in jobs that perhaps take electricians from wiring buildings and plants, wiring substations for a power company, to all of a sudden now installing solar panels, helping to install larger windmills. A solution for Illinois would be to continue to push towards studying the land and making sure that if there are any areas that could be able to harvest wind energy, we definitely push in that direction. I've already begun working with a number of students and lawmakers to date who are connected with the Obama administration to look at areas such as my hometown of 7,000 people and see if it's capable of installing or hosting, so to speak, windmills that could harvest that energy. I believe in looking at resources like alginol. I was introduced to it by a medical doctor in our city. Alginol is a little bit different than corn ethanol. Alginol is a process where seawater is actually used to actually harness, again, another renewable energy, so to speak. Obviously, that's not as available to us in our geographical position, but I say all that to say that there are so many routes that we can go. Again, coal. One of the first industries that I worked in outside of a major Fortune 500 company was a small company about 4 hours away from here that started off working with people in coal mines. It's an energy that we need to tap into. It's right here. In other words, we need to move from a state of moral incontinence, depending on countries like Nigeria, Venezuela, obviously where there are perhaps corruption, unethical activities, but yet we depend on that oil. We need to start tapping into our natural reserves, tapping into our own energy sources, and making sure that we make it a national effort. That's what I want to do for the state of Illinois, and I release those also in my energy and environment portion. So end U.S. dependence on foreign oil, in importing oil from corrupt countries, create new green jobs, and invest more in renewable energies.
Okay, good. Let's switch to immigration.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe amnesty should be given to those people here that are illegally? And what is your general views and proposals for immigration?
Well, as a college, again, professor and dean, I see a lot of good students come through from different countries. They're in and out of my house all the time, and by the way, they're legal. But I think too often what happens is people extend their stays. Visas are too long. My opinion regarding immigration comes somewhat from a macro and a micro perspective. I don't believe we're doing enough to protect our borders, first of all. Before I even talk about illegal aliens coming across the border at night, I think we need to make sure that we are looking at, in every way, protecting our borders, whether that means federal bureaus of investigations in 200 countries, as we already have, or it means us pushing our troops on the border and pulling out of places like Afghanistan and Iraq. We need more security there. As it relates to amnesty, I believe illegal aliens who have crossed the border and have not demonstrated any practices that are unbecoming of a citizen, who have not broken any laws, should have perhaps a 30 to 90 day window to actually find themselves an agency, if not just the State Department, to turn themselves in and be given a fair test. One of the reasons why many illegal aliens choose not to take tests, at least people that I've seen, is the test is not even able to be passed by American citizens, and they're told to prep for it and take it in just a matter of weeks. We need to have a fair test, a fair way to move them towards driver's license and making sure that they will take care or their load or their burden, so to speak, as a U.S. citizen. The problem that we ultimately have, that we're suffering today, is our healthcare systems being burdened by people coming into emergency rooms without insurance, without even being a citizen. And ultimately, we're seeing jobs being taken away. People argue in many different directions regarding illegal aliens and jobs, but I believe this is one of the major ways you can end unemployment being at 10% and higher, allow jobs that should be available to hardworking Americans to be available and not taken by those people who choose to come across the border illegally. I believe at the state level and even the national level, when we come into the awareness of companies who fail to prosecute CEOs and executives who hire illegal aliens, we need to make sure that those companies are held accountable, shut down if need be, or someone is prosecuted. That's the only way I believe we can address the problem of illegal aliens, and amnesty is the way to go. I don't believe you should round everyone up, push everybody across the borders. The United States is made up of people obviously from different countries, different nations. That were not the case, obviously, neither you nor I would be here today.
Okay. All right, let's switch it to, I guess, spending in Washington.
Sure.
And let's talk about, whether there's been a Democratic majority or Republican majority. It seems like large spending bills that probably would not pass end up being tied to other legislation.
Sure.
To be passed. They have these omnibus bills. In the healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
we know in the healthcare bills there's
Sure.
a lot of things
Oh,
tied
sure.
into that.
Sure.
I just wanted to get your opinion on: do you believe it's an acceptable practice to tie unrelated bills together, or to, I guess, just come out and say it, do you believe that earmarks should be a natural part of the process in Washington?
I don't have a problem with earmarks for the specific purpose of money being allocated to a specific project within a bill. But if it's totally, if I could use the word non-related to the actual bill or the act being pushed through the Senate or the House, I believe, again, that is demonstrating that we're trying to pull something over the heads or eyes, so to speak, of the U.S. citizens. I think this last convening of the Senate left a bad taste in many people's mouths, because it seemed that there are many backdoor sweetheart deals that were made simply to push health care across. I don't believe that should be the standard practice, and that's one of the reasons why many people are voting people that are sitting in office out of office today, because they feel that those deals are not fair. As a bishop or a pastor, I struggle a little bit with many issues or many initiatives that I see certain senators or representatives have being pushed under the cloak of a bill or an act that's totally different from the initiatives they're trying to push. And we see this too often, and that should be addressed.
Okay. Would you read every bill before you cast a vote?
Absolutely. Why not?
Because they're 1,800 pages?
I actually looked at the health care bill because obviously I want to be able to talk about it and be well versed. I've been taught you can't teach what you don't know, and you can't lead where you won't go. Ironically, when you look at bills, even though there's an 8.5 by 11 dimension here, the bills seemingly stretch but about 3 or 4 inches across the paper. They're just a whole lot in the margins. So it's not that difficult to read through a 1,000-page bill. Now with the age of PDFs, et cetera, it's as easy as scrolling through. Obviously, speeding too fast, skimming, you run into the issue that you just mentioned below, right, or above there, where you have obviously more things slip into the bill that should not be there.
Okay. What's your thoughts on the Second Amendment? How far do you see the Second Amendment going in terms of rights to own?
Well, I believe, as stated in the Second Amendment, that we do have the right to bear arms. I believe, obviously it talks about the militia, but there was most recently legislature in 2008 that talked about the fact that